Welcome again to our channel. I just wanted to ask you for a favor. If you do find content in this channel interesting, I want to ask you one thing. Please do subscribe to this channel and pass on the link to the people that you do know, and give us thumbs up and also give us a comment. When we hear from you, it allows us to, one, understand what your perspective on the matter is. Two, it allows us to bring you more content based on the information we receive from you. Here we do talk about things pertaining to Africa, because we see Africa as a continent that has been so neglected, and we know that we have missed on the train of industrial revolution. But now we are looking forward to something even better happening to us here in Africa. But the way we do it is only if we can share information, if we can interact and give ourselves ideas on how we build the kind of Africa that we want. Motherland is calling you wherever you are in the world. Wherever you can hear the sound of my voice, know this: your motherland is here, and one day you will come back to find out how the country or the continent is doing. So that's why we look at what is happening, and we want to inform you, we want to let you know, so that you can make decisions that are good based on good information. Here, like I said, your comments is really important to us, because it allows us to bring up more content for you. I want to talk about something that I know you may or may not have heard of: the global agenda. The global agenda of depopulation. What do I mean by that? There are what we call the elites, those who sit around the table and decide the fate of other people, those who decide how the world should run, those who decide what's the best thing to do in the economy, those who decide that we are to put more money into the economy, those who decide we should take out money from the economy, those who decide what kind of vaccination people should have, those who decide how much money we should let in the economy, and whether or not we should have a cashless society, or whether or not we should go into sort of a new age of technology where we have AI and we've got the robotic down the line that are going to replace human in terms of jobs and many other areas of life. So these are some of the things that the global or globalists come up with. But in relation to Africa, what is it that is happening? What is it that is in their minds? What are they thinking about the continent of Africa? Now, we know for so many years it has been the desire, it is fact that most Western countries came to Africa because they wanted, obviously, to use and take the natural resources and then take it back to their land and be able to exploitation basically was, if you like, the trademark back in those days. So they see Africa as a land where they can get the raw material, where they can get their resources and then go and build their nations. But as the population of the world has grown to what it is now, over 8 billion, we have an issue. We hear a lot about climate change. We hear about global warming. We hear about how that we're going all to starve to death unless we take some drastic actions and drastic measures to reduce the population. So these are the things that are happening and actually going on in the mind of the globalists. And I just wanted us to know that what is coming down the line is that there is, I don't know whether or not you have heard of the 2030 agenda. If you have not, I will encourage you to go and watch what the 2030 agenda is. What are they trying to achieve? What are they aiming at getting at? When you do fully understand that, you will understand that we are moving into an age of a utopia, a place where only a few, we only have a few that are controlling the masses, but it's going to be a case when only the few will have ownership of most of the land in most countries. But in Africa, like I said, whenever such a thing comes in terms of, but how, first of all, before I get there, because the agenda wants to reduce the world population, have you ever asked yourself how they're going to do that? And what are they planning? Apparently, there is so many of us, we need to get rid of some. We're going to coil some people. Now, where are the majority of these people going to come from? You ask yourself questions. But I believe that Africa somehow is the right spot, is the right place where they're thinking like, when we have people who tell us how many children you should have. And for all sort of different reasons, which I don't want to go into in this video, somebody can say, yes, people are right in thinking, yes, we can have X amount of, children per family. And, there is a lot of questions around that. And I'm not saying one way or another, but I'm just saying that if somebody should leave their country from wherever they are, whether it be the US or Sweden or Holland, wherever, a minister should stand and say, oh, in Africa, they're having too many children, we should find out how to limit that. I think that is something that we shouldn't tolerate. But what I see happening is that, yes, they are planning to get rid of some people. And with the advent of the high tech and the industry, the way it's going, and the sort of technology we have nowadays, where robotic is now replacing human beings, you can understand that in 3 to 5 years, they would not have enough jobs in order to occupy or keep everybody busy. So what happens then once you have all these robots that are taking jobs away from people? Now, what are these people going to be doing? Ask yourself those questions. How are they going to earn their living? So there is a plan, if you like, that is unfolding before our eyes, that we look at the world. They're asking themselves, if a robot can do this, if the robotic is taking over the industry, in whatever area you may find yourself, now with also AI that we do have, you can only imagine what will happen in 2 years. Many of the jobs that you're doing now will no longer be available. What would you do? Where will you go? How will you support yourself? Have you answered yourself, or have you asked yourself these questions? When you begin to ask yourself this question, you will want to know, what are the people that are actually making these decisions? What do they have in mind? But I just want you to know, here in Africa, we have all that we need in order to support ourselves, because the plan is to get rid of the people in Africa. And most of us, they plan evil and not good for us. And I want us to awaken to this reality. You see what Europe is becoming, a dystopia, a small, if you like, country that is so governed. I know it's a continent, but what I'm saying, they're trying to reduce this into a place where they can manage and control those living in it. And through many intervention that we're getting now, there's whether it's medical or otherwise, all geared towards one thing, that is to reduce the world's population. I want you to know that this is coming. I will share a little bit more in another video where I can basically spell out what is it that is happening in Agenda 2030. But one thing you need to know, they need to reduce the world population by then. But how much, it is debatable. But they want to bring back the world population into about 2 billion. Now, if we have 8 and they have to reduce it to 2 billion, what will they do with the other 6 billion people? Do you wonder why they give people the kind of medication that they're giving them nowadays? Things are just going, on the planet, there are wars that are taking place and millions of people are dying each and every day. But all of this is because some people think, yes, we need wars. Yes, we need to get rid of some people. Yes, even the food that they give people to eat. Do you know what they do to the food these days? Some of these foods are just artificial. Some of these things are just there to cause sickness and all sorts of problems in human bodies, so they can keep them taking medication for a lifetime, and then they can make money out of it. Obviously, that's capitalism. They don't care about the people, but they care about the money and how much money they're making. So I'm here to say this, that we need to wake up. We need to understand that times are changing, and in Africa we need to be making decisions that will protect us and our children and all that will come thereafter or after us. So it's very, very important that we stay attuned to what is happening. But just know this, there are nefarious plans that are being made that are not good for Africans, and not only Africans but also in Europe. But just bearing in mind, we are discussing and we are talking about things that concerns us here in Africa. Please look out for my next video as I delve a little bit more into this. So I just want to leave you right now, and I want to ask you again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and share and give us thumbs up. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.